My ex-husband brought his new family to the summer cabin I built. He smirked. "You can't do anything about it," cried in court. But he didn't know it's no longer just a cabin. The letter trembled in my hands as I read it again. My lawyer's neat handwriting doing nothing to soften the blow. Per the court's decision, Mr. Campbell retains partial access rights to the lakeside property. I crumpled the paper, my fingers turning white at the knuckles. My name is Phoebe, and my ex-husband just won the right to use my cabin, the one thing I fought hardest to keep in our divorce. The same cabin I spent 3 years renovating while he was busy building his new life with Rebecca. "You can't do anything about it," cried in court. Avery's taunting voice from yesterday's hearing echoed in my head. I could still see that smug smile spreading across his face as the judge announced his decision. My phone buzzed. "Speaking of the devil, just wanted to let you know we'll be using the cabin next weekend." Avery's voice dripped with false courtesy. "Rebecca's really looking forward to it. Oh, and Nicole's coming too." I gripped the kitchen counter. "Nicole, you're bringing your stepdaughter?" "Our daughter now. Phoebe. Remember? Rebecca adopted her." The room spun slightly. I hadn't known about the adoption. That's great," I managed. "Isn't it? We're finally a real family. The kind you never wanted to give me." The line went dead before I could respond. I grabbed my keys and jacket, needing to see the cabin one last time before they invaded it. The drive up was familiar. Every curve of the road etched into my memory like the growth rings of the trees surrounding my sanctuary. As I pulled up, the afternoon sun caught the new windows I'd installed myself, the deck I'd rebuilt board by board, the garden I'd planted with my own hands. "I thought I'd find you here." I turned to see Skylar walking up the path, her familiar red boots crunching on the gravel. My best friend knew me too well. "How bad was it?" she asked, joining me on the front steps. "He gets it every other weekend, plus holidays." My voice cracked. "And he's bringing them next weekend, his perfect new family." Skylar's eyes narrowed. "That entitled bastard, after everything you put into this place?" 3 years of work, every spare dollar I had. I stood up, pacing the deck. "You know what the worst part is? He doesn't even want the cabin. He just wants to prove he can take it from me. So what are you going to do about it?" I stopped pacing. "What can I do? He won the court battle." Skylar's smile turned mischievous. "The cabin, yes, but what about the land around it?" "What do you mean?" "Well, I've been doing some research. The property lines extend way beyond the cabin itself, and there's nothing in the court order about how you use the surrounding land, is there?" I felt a spark of something dangerous ignite in my chest. No, there isn't. "And you know what this area needs? A community center, specifically a women's resource center." Skylar's eyes gleamed. "Imagine Avery's face when he brings his perfect new family up here only to find himself surrounded by the kind of independent, empowered women he tried so hard to control." I walked to the edge of the deck, surveying the clearing beyond the cabin. The space was perfect, visible from every window, impossible to ignore. "It would take money," I said slowly. "Resources. I know some people, including a journalist named Valentina, who'd love to cover a story like this." My phone buzzed again. Another text from Avery. "BTW, having professional photos taken at the cabin next month for Rebecca's social media. Hope you don't mind." I showed Skylar the message and she laughed. "Oh, this is too perfect. You know what they say about karma? That she's a patient bitch." "Exactly." Skylar linked her arm through mine. "So what do you say? Ready to give karma a little push?" I looked at the cabin, my cabin, and felt the weight of every dismissive comment, every manipulative move, every cruel jab Avery had ever thrown my way. Then I thought about Nicole, his stepdaughter, being drawn into his web of control. "You know what?" I smiled for the first time that day. "I think it's time this place lived up to its potential, not as a weekend getaway for Avery's perfect family photos, but as something that actually matters." Skylar squeezed my arm. "That's my girl. Let's make some calls." As we walked back to our cars, planning our first moves, I couldn't help but glance back at the cabin. Avery thought he'd won, thought he'd finally broken me, but he'd forgotten one crucial thing. I'd rebuilt this place from nothing once before. I could do it again. Only this time, I'd build something he couldn't touch. "Look at this." Skylar spread the property maps across my kitchen table, her coffee going cold beside her. "The court order specifically mentions the cabin and immediate surrounding area, roughly 50 feet in each direction. But you own 5 acres, Phoebe." I traced the boundary lines with my finger, "and everything outside that 50-foot radius is completely yours to do with as you please." Skylar pulled out her laptop. "I've been researching similar projects. There's a women's center in Portland that started in someone's backyard. Now they help hundreds of women start their own businesses." My phone lit up with a text from Avery. "Need to store some jet skis at the cabin. Making memories with the family." I turned the phone face down. "So what's our first step?" Actually, Skylar typed something into her laptop. I already took it. Remember Valentina, the journalist who covered that corporate scandal last year? The one who made that CEO cry on camera? That's her. She's meeting us for lunch in 20 minutes. I nearly choked on my coffee. Today? Skylar, I'm not ready. You're never more ready than when you're angry. She closed her laptop. And trust me, Valentina's going to love this story. The cafe was busy when we arrived, but I spotted Valentina immediately. She had that journalist energy, alert, observant, already taking mental notes as we approached. So, Valentina said after introductions, Skylar tells me you're planning something revolutionary. I hesitated, but Skylar jumped in. Show her the text, Phoebe. I pulled up Avery's message about the jet skis. Valentina read it, then scrolled through the previous messages, her eyebrows rising. And this man, your ex-husband, he fought for access to a cabin he barely used during your marriage? He fought because he could, I said, because he knew how much it meant to me. Valentina leaned forward. And now you want to build a women's resource center around his weekend getaway spot? Not around it, I corrected. Beyond it, on land that's legally mine. A slow smile spread across Valentina's face. Tell me more. For the next hour, we outlined the vision, workshops, business mentoring, skill-sharing sessions, a place where women could find support, resources, and community. But here's what makes it newsworthy, Valentina said, scribbling in her notebook. It's not just about revenge. It's about transformation. Taking something meant to hurt you and using it to help others. I have some contacts in construction, Skylar added. Women-owned businesses ready to help. We could break ground within weeks. Valentina's eyes lit up. And I know several successful businesswomen looking for meaningful projects to support. This could be huge, Phoebe. Just then, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was a photo from Nicole, Avery's stepdaughter. She'd sent a picture of herself at some corporate event with Avery and Rebecca looking uncomfortable in a too formal dress. Dad's making me intern at his firm. Her message read, I hate it here. I showed the others the message. Perfect timing, Valentina said. We could include youth mentorship programs, give girls like Nicole alternatives to their parents' prescribed paths. Avery would lose it, I said, feeling a mix of satisfaction and genuine excitement. That's just a bonus, Skylar grinned. The real win is what this could mean for the community. Valentina closed her notebook. I want to break this story, not just about the center, but the whole journey from divorce court to community triumph. It's the kind of inspiration people need right now. When? I asked. Let's time it right. When's your ex planning those social media photos? Next month. Perfect. Valentina's smile turned calculating. We'll have the foundation laid by then. Nothing he can legally object to, but enough to ruin his perfect family photos. And when he reacts, we'll be ready, Skylar finished. Back home that evening, I stood in my backyard imagining the transformation to come. My phone buzzed with a group chat Skylar had created. Project Phoenix. Valentina had already shared contractor contacts. Skylar had drafted a preliminary budget. This was really happening. Another text from Nicole popped up. Dad's bragging about his plans for the cabin. Says he's going to make it actually worth something now. I thought about Nicole's forced smile in that corporate photo about all the other women and girls trapped in lives others chose for them. Then I thought about Avery's face when he realized his victory lap had become someone else's starting line. Don't worry. I texted back to Nicole. Things around here are about to get very interesting. I added a Phoenix emoji, smiled, and got to work on the permit application Skylar had sent over. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying something. It's about creating something better from the ashes. The local courthouse hadn't changed since my divorce proceedings. Same worn wooden benches, same stuffy air, same feeling of butterflies in my stomach. But this time, I wasn't here as a defendant. I was here to meet Judge Rolando for coffee. Phoebe, his familiar voice boomed across the lobby. What brings you to my neck of the woods? I held up the community center proposal Skylar and I had prepared. Actually, I was hoping to get your thoughts on something as a pillar of the community, of course. Rolando's eyes crinkled at the corners. Flattery will get you everywhere. Let's grab coffee in my chambers. As we walked, I spotted Avery's new wife, Rebecca, leaving one of the courtrooms looking flustered. She didn't notice me, but I caught fragments of her conversation on her phone. The property lines are so confusing, Avery. Are you sure? I smiled to myself as I followed Rolando into his office. So, he said, settling behind his desk with his coffee. What's this proposal about? We're planning a women's resource center, I explained, laying out the plans, job training, financial literacy workshops, mentorship programs. The community seems excited. Location? My property up by the lake. Rolando's eyebrows shot up. The cabin property? The land around it, I clarified. Well, outside the court-mandated shared space. He studied the plans carefully, then looked up with a knowing smile. Interesting choice of location. It's perfect, actually. Peaceful setting, lots of space, easy access from town, and nothing in the previous court order preventing it, he added, tapping his finger on his desk. You know, community resource centers often qualify for special zoning benefits, reduced taxes, priority permits, that sort of thing. I tried to keep my voice casual. Really? Absolutely. In fact, he pulled out a folder. I just signed off on something similar last week. Here's the paperwork if you're interested in the precedent. My phone buzzed. Skylar had sent a photo of our first delivery of construction materials being unloaded at the site. Speaking of precedent, Rolando continued, there's an interesting clause about shared properties being subject to surrounding land use. Meaning, if the surrounding land becomes a designated community space, the shared property has to accommodate community access. He winked. You didn't hear that from me. Just then, his secretary poked her head in. Judge, your next appointment is here. It's Mrs. Campbell about the property line dispute. Send her in 5 minutes, Rolando called back. Then to me, better use the back door unless you want an awkward reunion. I gathered my papers quickly. Thanks for everything, Judge. Don't thank me, he said. Just make sure whatever you're building helps people. That's the best legal defense there is. I slipped out just as Rebecca entered through the main door, clutching a stack of papers and looking worried. Back at the construction site, Skylar was directing a team of workers while Valentina interviewed local women who'd stopped by to see what was happening. How'd it go? Skylar asked as I approached. Better than expected. We might have more legal leverage than we thought. Perfect timing. Valentina joined us, recorder in hand. Because word's spreading fast, I've got 3 local business owners wanting to sponsor workshops, and the women's shelter in town wants to partner with us. And look who else showed up. Skylar nodded toward a car pulling into the lot. Nicole stepped out, looking around nervously before spotting us. I told Dad I was at study group, she said, approaching. Is it true? Are you really building a place to help women start their own businesses? Among other things, I said. Want to see the plans? Her eyes lit up as we showed her the blueprints. This is amazing. Dad's been pushing me to follow his footsteps in corporate law, but I really want to start my own graphic design company. We'll have workshops for that, Skylar said. Marketing, business planning, everything you need. Nicole's phone chimed. Her face fell. It's Rebecca. They're looking for me. Better go, I said. But Nicole, you're welcome here anytime. After she left, Valentina checked her notes. This is Gold, the stepdaughter of the man who tried to take your property, finding empowerment in the very place he meant to use against you? Speaking of which, Skylar pointed to an incoming email on my phone. Looks like Avery's lawyer just requested clarification about the property boundaries. I thought about Rebecca's confused face at the courthouse, about Nicole's dreams of independence, about all the women already rallying around this project. Let them ask questions, I said, watching the construction crew break ground. Every answer they get is just going to make our foundation stronger. Rising from the ashes, local woman transforms divorce battle into community triumph. Valentina's headline blazed across the front page of the local paper. I stood at the construction site watching women stream in for our unofficial opening day. The article clutched in dozens of hands. This is insane, Skylar whispered, surveying the crowd. We expected maybe 50 people. There must be 200 here. The center had come together faster than we'd imagined. 2 buildings flanked the main courtyard. One for workshops and classes, another for office spaces and mentoring sessions. The cabin sat in the distance, looking small and insignificant compared to the vibrant community space we'd created. PB. Valentina rushed over, phone in hand. The article's gone viral. 3 major news networks want interviews, and Rising Phoenix is trending locally. A commotion at the entrance caught my attention. Avery stood there, newspaper crumpled in his fist, face red with fury. Rebecca hovered behind him, looking uncertain, while Nicole lingered even further back, trying to hide a smile. What is this? He demanded, storming over and waving the paper. You turned my property into some sort of feminist commune? Your property? I kept my voice steady, aware of phones recording nearby. The cabin's that way, Avery. This is my land, remember? The part you didn't fight for because you thought it was worthless? You planned this, he sputtered. You deliberately built a community resource center that's already helped 30 women start their own businesses. Valentina cut in smoothly, her recorder visible. Would you like to comment on your opposition to local economic growth, Mr. Campbell? Avery's mouth snapped shut as he finally noticed the cameras. Rebecca tugged at his sleeve. Honey, maybe we should know. He jerked away from her. This was supposed to be our family retreat, our perfect getaway. Look what she's done to it. Made it perfect for a lot of families? Nicole stepped forward, her voice stronger than I'd ever heard it. Dad, they're offering free graphic design courses, real business training, not just corporate internships where I fetch coffee. Nicole, get in the car, Avery snapped. Actually, Nicole pulled out some papers. I signed up for the Young Entrepreneurs Program. I'm 16. I don't need parental permission. The crowd had grown silent watching the drama unfold. Skylar touched my arm, nodding toward a group of women approaching the local business owners who'd sponsored our programs. "Mr. Campbell," one of them called out, "we've been looking forward to meeting you. Your ex-wife's initiative is exactly what this community needed. We'd love your thoughts on supporting young entrepreneurs like your daughter." Avery's face cycled through several shades of red as cameras turned toward him.